Hi, welcome to Happy Tales. I'm Cheryl Rosenthal, Communications Coordinator at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society.
And I'm Joni Geiger, Executive Director.
And today our show is going to focus on kids and pets. We have two special guests with us today, Jen and her son Sawyer. Let's get started.
Okay, this is Stella. Stella is a female, probably about 3 years old. She's a spayed, and she's not accustomed to children. And what we want you to do is to kind of watch her body language. Now, obviously, it's a little uncomfortable for her to be kind of contained like this. She's accustomed to this room. But you'll see there's some avoidance on her part, you know. And this is Sawyer. Sawyer is our resident child here who's going to pet kitties and puppies for us so that you can see the interaction between pets. So what we're watching for here is, you know, just how the cat reacts and how Sawyer reacts. Sawyer's 2 years old. So, you know, this is a typical age where a lot of people think they want to get a pet for their child. And the important thing to remember is it's not so much age as much as it's important to understand that children understand the word no, and they follow through on it. So there's got to be an understanding of don't pull tail, don't pull ears. And Cheryl, do you want to add anything to this?
To be reinforcing that, if you notice, Jen was helping him pet the kitty gently. It's important that they understand that just like you or I don't want to have our hair pulled or be poked in the eye, neither does kitty or puppy. And so it's very important that children learn to be gentle and that they can, you know, hurt kitty. And to have that constant supervision. You know, children should never be left alone with any pet, no matter how well behaved you think the pet is. Things can just happen too quickly, and
there is an adjustment period, obviously, when you bring a new pet home. So what you really look for, and you have to understand, Sawyer is going to, in his own home, he's going to want to pick up the kitty. He's going to want to run after the kitty. He's going to want to do all those things that kids do. And you have to find a cat that's going to be tolerant of that and is going to understand that. They also need the opportunity to get away. They need a safe place.
Right. They need to be able to get up on things. They need to have some quiet time. And the other thing that you want to do is make sure that your children learn how to play appropriately with your pet, not to use their hands. You know, a lot of times we think it's a wonderful game to chase our pet and then turn around and let our pet chase us. Unfortunately, with some animals, that can incite their prey drive and ends up with scratches or bites. Right. And so sometimes those things that we think are innocent games turn out to be not so fun for the child and or the pet. So again, just a caution that to be aware of what's going on between the pet and the child. And it's okay to say, you know, kitty needs to go night-night, go in its safe room, and allow the cat a timeout or the puppy a timeout. Right. And I think it's also true for people with older children. It's important that people remember when their children's friends are coming over to visit that that it is a parent that introduces.
Right. But let's focus on the body language right now. I don't know if you just saw that, but Sawyer just did an approach, and then there was an avoidance from Stella. So would Stella be an appropriate cat?
For under 2? Mm-hmm. Not really.
Yeah, that would be my thought too. Stella is a nice cat. She may tolerate up to a point, but she really is not seeking Sawyer out.
Right.
She's not approaching him.
Well,
she's not rubbing up against him.
And the other thing is that she can avoid him, but in a home situation, she's going to try to avoid him, and Sawyer is going to probably run after her.
Right.
And, you know, no, don't leave me and do the grabbing. Sure. And again, his intent is not to hurt Kitty. He wants to be with Kitty. But unfortunately, Stella is like, no, thank you.
Okay, this is Bonnie, and Bonnie is probably around 4 months old. Now, honestly, she's not really accustomed to this environment right now, so she's checking things out. Very often, when people come into the shelter and they have young children, they want kittens. Right. Do you agree, Cheryl?
Yes, everybody seems to want a kitten thinking that, oh, well, you know, it will be a real bonding experience, but they don't realize the activity level and that kitties, you know, want to...
Good point.
They're going to be running, scratching, and children are going to be running after them, trying to pick them up. Oftentimes children don't know how to appropriately pick up a kitty. They pick them up around their middle. Kittens the age of this one are less fragile, but when you're getting an 8-week-old kitten, those are fragile.
Very fragile.
If you're squeezing or pulling their ears, or if you sit on them, children. How many times have you seen a small child go up to a dog and just kind of flop on the dog? Right. Well, if you do that with a kitten, you can end up, injuring the cat.
And the natural reaction, and people need to understand that, is when animals unintentionally get hurt, they strike out, and that's a pretty normal reaction. There's very few animals that don't react that way. So the truth of the matter is that if they get picked up inappropriately, or if they get squeezed too hard, they're going to scratch or bite. And again, it's not intentional, but that's how a lot of kids do get hurt, because the truth of the matter is that they just, they're not appropriate with that kind of behavior. So, and you can see just, and obviously there's some restraint here. We've got everybody in an enclosed area just so we have some control over it. But the truth of the matter is if Sawyer was up and running around, chances are he'd be chasing this cat all over the place. Because he's a kid and he wants to play.
Right. And I think the other thing with adopting a kitten or a puppy when you have small children, you have to remember that puppies and kittens, just like young children, are going to require extra care. Mm-hmm. And so it's almost like bringing another toddler into your home. And so you need to be aware that if you really have your heart set on a kitten, do you have the time and energy to devote to both your child and your new kitten or puppy?
I totally agree. I very often, when I'm working with people, will, especially if they're taking a young animal home, I said, you can equate that to bringing another child home. I mean, the effort level is and that's a good example of just, Sawyer just tried to hold him by the head. Right. I'll hold him here. Right. Well, and his intent is not to hurt the kitty, but I want kitty near me or to hold him, and I don't know the correct way. Right. And so another reason why you just never leave children and pets unattended. Right. It is a safety issue. It really, truly is. You don't want your child getting hurt, nor do you want your animal getting hurt. So I guess our point is that, and we'll talk about this a little later, about how it needs to be an appropriate match. You want to find somebody that's going to be appropriate. So, right. And it's also at this time that you're also teaching your children, good skills. Right. Animal skills. Good animal skills. You're absolutely right. And I think that's a good point, Cheryl, is that kids learn from their parents. And if parents are taking good care of their animals, children will do the same.